Hi all, in continuation with human perception and augmented reality and virtual reality, our next topic is going to be manipulation. So before getting into what is manipulation in augmented reality and virtual reality, I would like to say what is the phrase is all about. Manipulation in general, for example, we say a person being manipulated. So why we say he or she is manipulated is because of somebody's interaction, the his or her nature behavior would have changed. That is why we call that person has manipulated, or this person being manipulated. So keeping this apart. So now getting into what is manipulation in augmented reality and virtual reality. So here in augmented reality, virtual reality, we'll be designing 2D or 3D objects. So when we try to select an object or select and we would like to grab it, we would like to rotate it, we would like to resize it, that is you want to shrink it or you want to expand it. So according to our interactions, these kind of movements will happen to that particular object. So that is what we call it as manipulation in augmented reality and virtual reality. So, in both augmented reality and virtual reality, manipulating virtual objects is the core interaction, as I told you. So, it is due to interaction. Interacting with the objects will become a manipulation. That's what they have given here. Manipulating virtual objects is the core interaction involved in techniques like selection, movement, rotation, and resizing, often using intuitive input methods like touch, gestures, or specialized devices. So first we are going to discuss on the augmented reality manipulation techniques. So the first one is touch based. This is obvious, we know everybody knew it. Using touchscreens on devices like smartphones or tablets to select, move and manipulate virtual objects. So on a smartphone, where either you want to use a Gmail, WhatsApp, or a Facebook, or any other app, what we do is like we touch it, we open it, and we are selecting photos, you're uploading videos, we are downloading documents, PDFs, etc. Everything based on touch. That is what touch-based technique. The next one is mid-air interactions. So employing gestures or hand movements to interact with virtual objects in the air. That is, we are not going to touch the objects, just with our hand movements in the air. There, the interaction happens and the manipulation to that object will happen. So I'll show, as it is going to be a new thing to you, I'm going to show you an example. It is we call it as AR sandbox. So I would like to play it for you. Do have a look on it. So get to you're gonna have a more general, more idea on mid-air interactions. Yes, as you could see, the person, he is showing his hand in the air according to his air gesture. The object is manipulating. Yes, that is all the mid-air interaction technique. So next technique is tangible interactions. So using physical objects as input devices to manipulate virtual objects, such as using a physical marker to select a virtual object. So tangible interactions is also going to be a new interaction to you. So let me show you an example for that too. So here it is. Let us watch it. Yes, as you could see, so this is like in urban planning, they have developed it according to their tap and double tap. The floors of the construction keeps increasing in the augmented reality window. This is, see, to your left is a real constructed thing, and to your right is the augmented reality developed app. They are showing that, so just by tapping, the building's level keeps increasing, and they have even introduced the lights in that. But originally this is the content, but through augmented reality they are showing a difference in it. So they call it as a two-way interaction. So this is what we call it as tangible interaction. So next, so next is head movement. So that sandbox which I showed you, we can do it using the head movement according to user's head movement. When there is a manipulation, we call it as the head movement technique. So here are examples. So where all this particular manipulation technique has been used is virtual dressing apps where users can virtually try on clothes, or games like Pokemon Go which overlays virtual creatures onto the real world. So virtual dressing apps are available nowadays. So we need not go for a try on, real try on. If we choose a particular cosmetics or particular dress, we can do a virtual try on. So that is also an example of manipulation objects. And the next game is Pokemon Go. This is a famous game, so that is finding Pokemons in our play in a realistic environment. We'll be in the search of Pokemons. So next is VR manipulation techniques. So VR manipulation techniques are hand tracking. So hand tracking to simulate grasping and manipulate virtual objects. Hand tracking according to hand movements, the objects will keep manipulating. So next is we can even give voice commands. So using voice command to interact with virtual objects such as moving or rotating them. Next is haptic feedback. So haptic feedback. This I would have told you what is haptic feedback in previous lectures. That is by touch. By touch, when we do it, we call it as haptic feedback. Next is eye tracking. According to our eye movements, the objects will change its nature. That is eye tracking. So we are examples where we can see manipulation as VR games, simulations, and collaborative VR applications where users can manipulate virtual objects together. So what are the key considerations we have to take it for manipulation in VR? Intuitive interaction. So definitely, so there should be an intuitive interaction that should be in nature and easy to learn. And then accuracy and efficiency, that is important. That's a user experience. So now we have watched a video on AR sandbox. So we had a good user experience, right? So that is what we the most expected thing in AR and VR. And feeling of control. Yes, according to your movements, the object keeps changes. So the entirely that particular object should be in the user's control. Next is collaboration. So collaboration is like we can manipulate of virtual objects in both AR and VR environment. Collaborative manipulation, that is like we have seen in that second video. two-way interaction. That is what we call it as collaboration. So next, I'm gonna show how to manipulate 3D objects using Blender. See here, so first we have to create a cube in Blender. This is a simple cube. It is very easy. We can create it in a cube in a Blender. And second step, so as I told you, we can select an object, we can grab it, we can rotate it, and we can even resize it. That is what we are going to do it now. So first we have created a cube, and then step 2 is when you press G in your keyboard, and okay, we can grab the cube. See here, initially that cube was in the center point 0 comma 0. So now the cube has been shifted from 0 comma 0 to another place. So this we can do it by pressing the letter G. And after pressing grabbing, and if you want to again relocate that particular cube to the center axis, if we do right click in a mouse, it'll not confirm that particular moment. It will be like, for example, just like undoing, control Z. So here if you want to do the undo, just do right click. So next is we can even rotate that cube, that is by pressing R. Okay, by left click we are confirming that manipulation. By right click we are not going to confirm that manipulation. So if we do right click, that rotation will be performed for that particular object. If we do left click, means the rotation will be performed for the particular object. If we do right click, the movement will not be confirmed. And next is, I said resizing. So resizing, here they call it as scaling. Here they call it as scaling, and if you press yes, we can resize the cube. Here this output you can see the cube has been expanded. So that is using the S key, and we can also use Ctrl Z to undo any operations. So next, if we want to do transformation, okay, so transformation is, so here in Blender they call it as selection, and grabbing they call it as transformation. So if grab XYZ transformation, so see here when we do G, when we press G and when we do grab, so this is sorry for the interruption. So yes, see here XYZ value will keep changing when we do the grab, and when we rotate here, for according to the rotation XYZ value will keep changing. According to the scale, XYZ value will keep changing. So we have to keep only three things in our mind. So manipulation object consists of three main things. One is transformation, second thing is rotation, and third thing is scaling. And it is like when we press G and when we do it, the value keeps changing. This is one way. Another way, we can manually give inputs here, and for example, if I give X as 3.35, according to this value the object will do the transformation. And if I give Z value as 5.78, according to that the object will rotate. And here if I change XYZ value as 2, 3 and 5, the scaling will change. So that is what, so we can even give input the values directly. So next, and I want to clear all the transformations, I want to clear all the manipulations which I have done. If you would like to do that, the simple way, Alt plus G will clear the transformation part, Alt plus R will clear the rotation part, Alt plus S will clear the scaling part. And we can even perform the 3D rotation, that is rotating along X, rotating along Y and rotating along Z. We call something called yaw, pitch and roll in augmented reality and virtual reality. That operation can also be performed. So to rotation along X-axis, so if you want to do along X-axis, what we'll do is press shift plus x or y or z to exclude an axis from the rotation. So if we give shift plus x means, so it will fix the object in x axis and the object will keep rotating along y and z axis. So we call it as x axis rotation, that is keeping the x values constant. Changing the y and z values alone will make the object rotate along y axis and z axis. Similarly, if we press shift plus y, so y will be fixed constant, the object will start rotating along x and z. The next, and if we press shift plus z, the object will remain constant along z axis and it will start rotating along x and y axis. And that is what the 3D rotations. And the last one is if you left click and drag the sphere for tumble rotate. So this is what we call it as tumble rotate. That is like when you put a particular object onto the floor, a glass or something like that. So what will happen? It will tumble. So that is what. So that tumble rotation also we can perform it using the blender. So that's all on this particular topic. Thank you.